Do you think the other sports kind of owe touch a little bit of like thank you for developing?
Big time, big time. We're going to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Man, the skill set that we have and the skill set that we provide through club stuff is what is getting contracted now for top tier money.
Yeah, when you think about it, like there's a lot of people that have transferred from, touch into the professional sports. But when you think about it, a lot of them are the superstars of those codes, eh?
I think it's a sport that should be a lot bigger than what it is, and it should get a lot more recognition.
For me, every time I come into a new season of touch, I'm just like, when is it going to get the credit that it deserves?
We consider touch to be the biggest social sport in the country.
No, we don't get the recognition that we deserve. Touch rugby is a way more entertaining game than some of the sports that they do show on telly.
Until touch becomes professional or semi-professional, we've got to take pride in knowing that the code, the coaches that were involved, has shaped someone to become a professional athlete.
I think it starts with maybe us first as players who have come through the touch system to be a bit more vocal about it. When I have been asked, I've always credited touch for, those skills that I've always been given, but I think it does. It needs a bit more love.
Style. While I greet the funk with my MΑORI, wanna buff enough on my bass guitar, my skills allow me break the tension or the tackle like Jonah Lomu on attack. I paid my dues from here to Timbuktu and back. Mad if I have my crew up in the house, it makes the difference. It is my preference. I still pursue to inject you with my hoariest intelligence, so intelligent. Make way for the native of all back on your. Behold my cool style while I greet the funk with my MAORI. Incredible, lyrical, and original.
This is a whānau touch module. Please take it easy on each other.
If you had to say there was an untold story of touch, what would that be?
Well, probably how many people have played. Everywhere you go, there's touch. Babies can play it, or your little ones can play it, old people can play it. It's a game that can be played by anyone because you only need a ball and a little bit of space, really. Yeah, that's the untold story that it can be enjoyed by everybody, yeah.
I have lifelong friends from touch. Like I come to touch and I walk around and I stop every 5 minutes to chat, and it's some are my age, some are 30 years older than me, and it's just cool. Like it's such a community game.
Well, that's where I met my wife. All my kids play the sport, they love it, and they just want to hang out and play touch all the time, so it means everything to me.
My bridesmaids were touchies. My closest friends are touchy, so it definitely for me is the friendships that I've been able to create along the way.
Man, well, touch was a massive part of my life. I think it's a part of my identity and who I am, and it's made me who I am.
Ko freezing hot tētahi o ngā karapu maha, puta noa I Aotearoa. Ko ngā karapu te kakapa o te kēmu.
Should be like 3-on-1 really, eh? Get up higher, our wingers.
Yeah, okay. So it's the old Nike swoosh. It means family, brotherhood that we've created over 25 years.
Raising on 3, 1, 2, 3, raising hot.
We've sort of all been in each other's lives, all the guys, and that. So it's just the whānau, yeah, we've just been there for each other every single year,
So clubs have been able to offer opportunities from 5-6-year-olds, and they look after them from that age all the way up to open women's or open men's where they want to go. So club backing has a lot to do with how the game is played out at the top end.
Ko te aroha o te kēmu te take e whakapaukaha nei ngā kaiako me ngā kaiwhakahaere I ngā karapu. E ora nei te kēmu I ngā mahi a ngā kaituao me o rātou ngā kauwhiwhita. Tui aki tērā, ko ngā kaiwawao e whakaora nei I te kēmu.
You don't have grassroots volunteers running clubs, running modules. You don't have sport. You don't have volunteers that want to pick up a whistle and and whistle at a local club competition or module, or even at provincial level, you don't have sport then.
Yeah, we have a big part to play in the game. Without us, there is no game. So, yeah, we play a huge part. It's the same with players, coaches and managers. We need all them on board to have our sport and to promote our sport. So we need to work together in order to grow it.
Kua puta te tokomaha kai tākaro i ngā karapu. Nā wai rā, ka huri hei whetū ki ngā hākina ki ngā maha.
Oh, brilliant work. And Ben Smith gives it to Milner-Skudder, the man on debut, and he has got a try.
I would honestly say that 90% of our team have a touch background.
You know, a lot of the guys that went on to play in the All Blacks, Mills Muliaina and, you know, Sean Johnson, they all touch backgrounds, Richie Moanga.
Oh, it helped hugely. I think in terms of the actual skill set in touch, it helped me heaps to have a skill set that requires decision-making, vision, beating players, you know, what it has to do with footwork and backing yourself to try to beat someone one-on-one.
I think touch has been a huge pathway for a lot of these players. Stacey Waka, Nehe Milner-Skudder, and actually Nehe was at my kura when he started at QEC College in Palmerston North. He was an awesome touch player for the school and then got snapped up by New Zealand Rugby. So yeah, I think they have to always look back and see where they started, where their grassroots started, and you'll find it is with touch.
Touch was probably my first go-to sport. I always tell the story of having an older brother and used to sort of just tag along to his trainings and his games and stuff and jam with him and his mates. So yeah, bro, earliest memories of any sort of sport was chucking a touch ball around.
Ahakoa kua whina te kēmu i ngā kai tākaro kia eke ki ngā taumata arohe a motu hoki. Ki etahi hākina ki ngā kē, tērā etahi e whakapono ana, ko parea tēnei hākina ki ngā kimuri.
It's just hard because it's not going to that next level. Do you know what I mean? There's no one there to take it to that next step. I don't know what that next step, who's going to take it to that next step. But like, you know, you speak to Benji and Sean Johnston and all those sort of guys, and they really wrap it up. You know what I mean? Because it's paved the way for them.
Is it always going to be a stepping stone into other sports? I think so. And until our open teams win these elite world titles, then I think maybe you'll see maybe some of our athletes staying in the code.
I think those who know, they know that touch is a great foundation for a lot of sports too. But you know, it's kind of hoo-ha because a lot of people say that. It's like, oh yeah, touch is a great foundation. A lot of people go on to playing other high performance sport, playing professional sport, when they've started off with touch, and it's kind of like, when is it going to get to that level where touch can actually stay as touch? People don't have to leave the sport.
Ina kōrerohia te whutupōro pā o te ao. Kaimua tonu a hitereiria i Aotearoa. Heoi, i te upu o te ao i te tau iwa te kaumaiwa, hua mai ai tētahi mea hirahira, po te kapa pāpango.
Yeah, 99 was a special year for a group of us.
Oh, man. 99, Sydney. Yeah. I couldn't wait for the game to be over.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most underrated moments in our sport, in our country, I think. But it is a monumental achievement. They had some great players, Kopa Erehei, Mike Daly, Cecily Stainton. You know, they had some gun players.
And we knew a lot of them, they knew a lot of us. You know, these are mixed guys and mixed ladies that we'd locked horns with for 3 or 4 years, so it just came back down to one game, and if I remember right, we were actually down at half time, and we had a few choice words said to us at half time, and then in the second half we scored one. Then we just kind of got on this roll. 2, 3. Then we found ourselves 2 ahead with the clock running out.
Engari, kua ka pike te wā. Ki te koa o te tīma nei.
Koe nei te tīma hanumi tuatahi I toa whakaihuaka I te upu o te ao.
It was wicked. We were tears of joy. It was emotional. We were just we jumped all over each other, we rolled all over the floor because we were World Cup champions and we were the first to do it. We beat Australia, so I was so stoked to be a part of that team. It was wicked, wicked, wicked.
To do it on Australia's turf as well, I think that's probably the part that's underrated.
It was a pretty special moment, bro. One that I'll never ever forget. It's still a special moment for me, and it's still a special moment for those players that took part in that particular campaign all those years ago.
He kōtuku re ringatahi aua e kenga I te upu o te ao. Nā reira, nā te aha e ke panuku tonu nei I Aotearoa.
Man, they are fit, they are fast and they're smart. And I think the advantage they have over us is they play all year round. And they have one chosen sport. You know, I play touch, basketball, netball, whereas they play touch, touch and touch.
We have our 4 months of summer and then we don't have that ability in winter to carry on, our top touch players to carry on. So our players will go and play rugby and netball and do other stuff in winter. You know, there's not many that play, well, it's only in Auckland. If you're in Auckland, then you can play some winter touch, but everywhere else there isn't anything. So we don't have that ability to stay sharp all year round like the Australians have.
Ko te huarere tērā, ko ngā tairo utu anō hoki tērā. He kēmu utu tākaro.
Well, you had to pay everything yourselves, you know, it was real grassroots stuff. You really had to rely on other family and friends to get you places, you know, the teams were pretty much running on their own resources.
You know, when I think about the effort, the money, the time, the sacrifice that goes into running these tournaments, that parents have to do for their kids to be able to play at nationals, provincial tournaments, World Cups, you know, we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars.
Going to training camps, especially at our youth levels, are expensive. And this is quite common, you know, you have a family full of touch players. Sometimes your whānau can't afford all 3 or 4 of them to go through, so you have to choose which one's going to follow the pathway in the high performance space.
I think with the Aussies, they have so many people playing. They have a huge population playing the sport and they have so many people to pick from. Us, we have players that get picked, and I can say it, back in the day, we would have a selection of 25 in our squad, would turn up to camp, and we've lost a good portion of them because they just can't afford to turn up. So for New Zealand, do we take the best players over there, or are we taking the players that can afford it?
Our players are still fully user pays at this point in time. You know, an example of the costs, you know, it costs $10,000 per player to go to Nottingham for the Touch Blacks, which, you know, that's a significant cost on every player. That's just too hard if you want to go out and be a world champion.
Hei tā ngā hautupua Māori o te kēmu, arā hei tā Remus rāua ko Drummy. E whakapono ana rāua kei te wāhi e noho ana rāua, te kurahuna, kei Aotearoa.
I just think the Kiwi boys over here, the Kiwi kids in Australia, I got nothing against New Zealand, but they need to look at some of the young talent over here, like MāORI, because to beat Dylan Hennessy, to beat the Peter Normans, to beat the best Australian touch players, all these young talents are playing with them, so they need to take them back home, at least give a couple of them a bit of a shot over there, and then when they go back home, they know what Dills and them do, they know what, you know, how they play. Like, I just think they need more players from Australia.
Especially like in the Australian grades coming through now, the top players like are pretty much MāORIs coming through, you know, but they're all grown up here and they come through the Australian system.
Look, I think there's a number of people that take an interest in the history of the sport. And to be fair, I'm just one of many people that do.
Wow.
I think if history's not recorded, you know, in the physical sense, then it just becomes an oral history. And with most oral histories, once someone passes away, then all that knowledge goes with them.
Jesus. First team, first nationals we ever had. And this is the very first dress shirt that we had for the first test in Melbourne.
My understanding is that Donnie Benson started the first touch module in New Zealand at Sunnyside on the North Shore.
My name's Don Benson and I introduced touch football to Auckland, New Zealand. The original program that we had when we played against the Australians here for their first national tour. Here's a photo of the original team that went to Australia and played in the first test. Well, it means a lot to me because I think I love the sport. I love the sport, I love the people involved in it. There's so many fantastic identities and there's so many amazing people I've met. And here's an article where the Aussies are urging us to get into touch, but we'd already been in touch for 10 years, so we just hadn't been in touch with them. But we'd already formed mixed teams, women's teams, over 35s, and we'd reduced the size of the field and we'd reduced the size of the football. We'd done everything, so we're ready to play them.
I'm talking with Don Benson, the President of the New Zealand Touch Association, over here with his side for the inaugural test between the Australian Touch Association men's open side and the New Zealand side. Don, how are they going to go today?
We have the advantage of the game today being played basically to our rules, so the ball is in our court, so we're just going to have to perform, simple as that.
And here comes the Australian team now.
Hi, I'm Steve Hansen and I was lucky enough to be selected in the first New Zealand touch team. It was a pleasure and an honour to represent the country. I haven't dealt with too many people, probably my kids are about the only ones that know, and most people are pretty surprised, I suppose. You know, they think of touch today because it's quite a short man's game and quite nippy, and but back then it was, you know, it was really in infancy and everyone was sort of learning how to play. It was an exciting time. It was a new game and a lot of league and a lot of union, and a mixture of those two things brought out a game of touch that you'd probably describe as freeball. You know, we freeballed rather than really structured like it is today. But no, it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience and good to be part of.
It's only when you retire, I think, that, yeah, you kind of think back and think, oh yeah, man, I did once play for the Touch Blacks. Wonder how my teammates are, you know. And then you're able to find these pockets of gold spread throughout the country of people who have photos and programs and videotapes of the game, how it used to be back in the day. And that's the part of the history of the sport that I think needs preserving. You know, the memorabilia part, the uniforms, the programs, because if it's not, it'll never see the light of day. And that's why I'm pretty passionate about not only researching our history, but sharing our history as well.
And I think that it deserves a heritage. So this is what I hope is going to be the beginning of a heritage for them.
E moi he wā nā Tony Raiwa ko Mike, ki te tuari ngā hitori o te pā, ki te katoa. I te wā, e arotahi ana te hapori pā ki te whanaketanga o te kēmu, ki taumata ke.
I'd hope that it would be a professional sport, but also hoping that it could be an Olympic sport too. I think that'll be a huge achievement for the game of touch.
And I think the real point of difference with touch is the mixed grade in particular. I can't really think of many other codes. There probably is with, you know, half the team are men and half the team are women. on the same field.
I think for it to be an Olympic sport would be amazing. And I always say, gosh, imagine how many sevens players and 15s and all that sort of thing, how many players would come back to the sport.
We consider touch to be the biggest social sport in the country without a doubt. Our official count of numbers was 142,211 last year. And that puts us right up there at the same level as rugby, netball, football and basketball, who are the other big sports in the country.
Our skills and our uniqueness and our game is great, and I think it needs just a bit of a financial input into something that could make this even greater.
Yeah, I just wish we had any people out there, put your hand up, start getting touch back on the screens it used to be. We need it to be back on there and get people watching, eyes on it, get some sponsorship behind it, yeah.
It's not just the game itself. There's so many levels. There's so many grassroots stuff going on in the community, social competitions as well. It's for everybody, which is really, really cool. So, I think we need to give it more love, and it's really cool to be a part of this, little doco series that's going on, and to actually have something about touch be put out there, and to show, there's a bunch of us that have come through the system, and there's going to be many more in the future as well that do come through.
Ko te reo, te take.